We're not here to ask, what's wrong with you? We're here to wonder, what happened to you, and how did you learn to survive it? That question changes everything. It replaces shame with curiosity. It turns self-blame into understanding. When we hear the word trauma, we often picture something dramatic, violence, disaster, catastrophe. But for many of us, it wasn't one big event. It was the slow, daily ache of not being met, not being seen, not being soothed when it mattered most. Childhood trauma can mean moments when we felt terrified and alone. Emotional neglect can mean no one noticed. Maybe our parents loved us but were too stressed, too hurt, or too distracted to attune to our feelings. Maybe we learned early that sadness made people pull away, or anger made them explode, or needs made us a burden, so we adapted. We learned to please, to perform, to disappear, to stay busy, to take care of others before ourselves. Those weren't flaws, they were brilliant strategies. Our young bodies and minds did exactly what they had to do to keep us connected, or at least to keep us safe enough to survive. The trouble is, those same adaptations often keep running long after the danger has passed. What once protected us starts to cost us. We keep scanning for rejection, even in love. We keep proving our worth, even when no one's asking. We numb ourselves, thinking we're avoiding pain, when really we're silencing the parts of us still waiting to be heard. When we say trauma, we're really talking about the imprint of those moments when we had to shut something down in order to stay connected. And when we talk about healing, we're not trying to erase the past. We're learning how to bring those shut down parts back into relationship with the rest of us. So as we move forward, let's hold this truth gently. There's nothing defective about us. Every behavior we've carried had a reason. Every wall, every addiction, every desperate reach for love was the best way we knew to keep ourselves safe. We don't need to judge those parts, we need to listen to them. Mara always said she liked independent men. It sounded admirable, even mature. She'd tell her friends, half joking, that she didn't want someone clingy, but independence for Mara usually meant distance, the kind that leaves you checking your phone in the dark, pretending not to care that it's silent. Her latest partner, Daniel, was kind in theory. He asked about her day, sent good morning texts, but when she tried to share something real, a bad dream, a moment of doubt, he'd go quiet. You worry too much, he'd say, smiling, and change the subject. She'd laugh it off, but her chest would tighten. Later, lying awake, she'd replay the moment, wondering why it hurt so much to feel unseen. It wasn't the first time. The pattern stretched back years. Boyfriends who traveled constantly, who forgot her birthday, who pulled away just when she reached out. Each time she'd swear she'd learned her lesson, yet the next connection would feel oddly familiar, exciting at first, then anxious, then lonely. One evening, while cleaning her kitchen, Mara found an old photo of herself as a child, 5 years old, standing in a doorway clutching a stuffed rabbit. Her mother, in the background, was turned away, phone pressed to her ear. Something in that image caught her breath. That look on the little girl's face, eager, careful, almost apologetic, as if love depended on not being too much. She remembered how, as a kid, she'd learned to tiptoe around her mother's moods, to earn warmth by being easy, quiet, good. Her father, kind but withdrawn, would retreat into his study when voices rose. No one was cruel, but no one stayed emotionally present either. Affection came in unpredictable doses, like sunlight flickering through clouds. She learned not to ask for more than what appeared. Now, decades later, that same nervous system still ran the show. When partners grew distant, it felt normal. When someone offered steady affection, it felt strange, even suffocating. Safety was confused with space, closeness felt like danger. She began to see the invisible thread, how the body, not the mind, kept choosing the familiar. Not because she wanted pain, but because she wanted home. And home was what once kept her alive. 3 insights rise from Mara's story. First, when love was inconsistent early on, our system learns to chase connection rather than rest in it. Second, we often mistake emotional distance for stability, because chaos once came disguised as closeness. Third, the ache we feel in adult relationships isn't proof of failure. It's the body trying to finish an old story that never had a safe ending. Somewhere inside, Mara began to sense that another kind of love might be possible, the kind that doesn't have to be earned by shrinking. But before she could find it, she'd have to learn what safety feels like in her own skin. And that, she would discover, is where the real story begins. Elias looked like someone who had it all figured out. Always early to meetings, always polished, always ready with a calm, easy smile. People said he was reliable, disciplined, driven. What they didn't see were the hours after midnight when the house went quiet and he sat glowing in the blue light of his phone, scrolling news, scrolling faces, scrolling anything that kept him from feeling the sharp edge of stillness. His days were full of movement, emails, projects, gym sessions, deadlines. Productivity was his religion. Rest made him uneasy. The idea of doing nothing felt almost dangerous, as if silence might expose something he wasn't ready to meet. He told himself he just liked being busy, that achievement made him happy. But every success faded fast, like sugar dissolving on the tongue. After work, he poured a drink, not to celebrate, but to take the volume down inside his chest. The first sip softened the static, the second quieted it completely. On weekends, he scrolled until his eyes burned, falling asleep to videos he wouldn't remember the next morning. He knew he was tired, maybe even lonely, but he didn't have the words for the kind of loneliness that can live inside a full life. Then one evening, something small cracked open. His niece, a shy 7-year-old, came to visit. She asked him to sit on the floor and draw with her. He laughed, saying he was terrible at drawing, but she insisted. For a few minutes, he stopped checking his phone. They drew a son, a house, a stick-figure family. At one point, she looked up and said, "You don't talk much, Uncle Eli. Are you sad?" The question hit him harder than it should have. He smiled, deflecting. "Just tired, sweetheart." But later, after she'd gone to bed, her words echoed. "Are you sad?" He realized he couldn't remember the last time anyone had asked him that. Maybe he couldn't remember the last time he'd asked himself. That night, for the first time in years, Elias sat without the drink, without the phone, without the noise. It didn't feel peaceful. It felt unbearable. But underneath the restlessness, he began to sense something else, a younger part of him that had been trying to stay busy for decades, because stopping meant feeling the loss, the neglect, the quiet disconnection that no one had ever named. The question, he saw, was never why the addiction. It was why the pain, the scrolling, the work, the drinking. They weren't moral failures or signs of weakness. They were ways of surviving, of staying just far enough from a grief that once felt too big to face. His habits weren't the enemy. They were his body's best attempt to protect him. In that moment, something softened, not a dramatic breakthrough, but a flicker of kindness toward himself. The understanding that healing might begin, not with discipline, but with gentleness. Two questions remain for all of us who recognize a bit of Elias in ourselves. What pain might your habits be protecting you from feeling? And would it be like, even for a few quiet breaths, to meet that pain with curiosity instead of judgment? Imagine your body as a house, and your nervous system as its smoke alarm. Its job is to keep you safe, not to tell you the difference between smoke from a house fire and smoke from burnt toast. Once it's been set off by real danger, emotional or physical, it becomes jumpy. Even years later, it can start shrieking at the faintest hint of threat long after the fire's gone. That's what we mean when we say when a body remembers what the mind forgets. Implicit memory isn't about stories or pictures we can recall. It's the way our muscles tighten when someone raises their voice, or how our heart races when a loved one goes quiet. It's the body saying, "I've felt this before," even if you can't name when. These memories live not as thoughts, but as reactions, sensations, habits of protection. They're not proof that you're broken. They're proof that you once had to adapt fast. For example, picture someone whose stomach knots every time they get a text from their boss. They tell themselves it's silly, nothing bad has happened, but their body doesn't care about logic. Maybe years ago they had a parent whose tone could change in a second. That small vibration on their phone now echoes that old uncertainty. The body reacts first, trying to keep them safe in a way that once worked. This isn't weakness, it's intelligence that hasn't yet been updated. The same alarm system that once saved you is simply waiting to learn that the danger has passed. Healing isn't about turning the alarm off, It's about helping it recalibrate. When we start noticing our reactions with kindness, this tension makes sense, my body's trying to protect me. Something shifts. The alarm begins to trust that we're listening, that we won't ignore its signals or shame its sensitivity. Slowly, the body learns a new pattern, not constant alert, but quiet watchfulness. Safety that can be felt, not just thought. That's the real hope. The past may live in our bodies, but so does the power to rewrite how it ends. Begin gently. Healing doesn't start with grand gestures. It starts with noticing. For the next week, try keeping a small awareness journal. Don't analyze, just observe. When do you feel tension rise? With whom? What was happening just before? Note the time, place, and what your body felt. Tight chest, shallow breath, a drop in energy. This builds a bridge between your inner experience and your conscious awareness. Writing it down shows your nervous system, I'm paying attention now. When you notice a trigger, a moment that stirs anger, fear, or shutdown, try asking 3 quiet questions. What am I feeling right now? What might this remind me of? What am I needing underneath this reaction? This is compassionate inquiry, not interrogation. You're not demanding answers. You're listening to the body's story with patience. Every time you do, you loosen the grip of automatic reactions. Then add 1 somatic pause to your day. When you sense stress, stop for a single full breath. Feel your feet on the floor. Let your eyes find something steady in the room. A color, a shape, a patch of light. This is orienting, reminding your body that right now you are safe. 1 grounded breath can interrupt years of survival looping. Next, practice 1 small boundary this week. It might be saying, I'll need to get back to you on that, instead of instantly agreeing, or choosing to end a conversation when your body starts to tense. Boundaries aren't walls. They're the lines that tell your nervous system it can rest, that you no longer have to earn safety by overextending. Finally, reach toward 1 safe connection, a friend who listens without fixing, a support group, or a therapist. Healing happens in relationship because trauma happened in relationship. Having 1 place where you can show up unmasked begins to rewrite your body's definition of belonging. Each of these steps tells the body a new story, and you are not alone. You are safe enough to feel. You are learning, not failing. If you find that memories, sensations, or emotions feel too heavy to hold on your own, please reach out for professional support. Healing is a shared process. Sometimes the safest step is letting someone else hold a bit of the weight with you. Both Mara and Elias carried their pain like hidden roots, old patterns buried deep, reaching silently through the soil of their lives. And yet, when they began to notice, to pause, to breathe, small cracks appeared in that hardened ground. Through those cracks, light began to rise, not in a rush, but in thin, patient threads. That's how healing moves, quietly, beneath the surface. Each moment of awareness, each breath before reacting, each honest word shared with a safe person. It all counts. The nervous system learns, not through force, but through repetition of safety. Change is slow because it's meant to last. There's no race here. Every tiny win, a boundary honored, a pause taken, a feeling noticed, is a seed of trust planted in new soil. The roots don't need to be perfect. They just need light to keep finding them. Take a breath. You've already begun. The fact that you're listening, that you're curious about your patterns instead of condemning them, that is the work. Healing isn't about fixing who you are. It's about remembering the safety that was once lost and learning to live from it again. This week, try 1 small experiment once a day when you feel yourself tensing or reaching for distraction. Pause and place a hand on your heart. Ask quietly, what are you trying to protect me from right now? Then just listen. No pressure to change, only to witness. That single moment of kindness begins to rewrite the map inside you. Relief doesn't come all at once. It grows in the spaces where we finally stop running from ourselves.